Oh, yeah, yeah, we're here. We're up. We're a little bit early today, but testing things out just for the sake of it. Welcome to another edition of XFeed. If this is your first time hanging out, well, we do this every day, Monday through Friday, and we go over your tweets, different headlines across the space. And today, the focus is on having fun within the crypto space. We're going to be going over Blast. A lot of people have you know, gone a little crazy on some of the predictions before Blast came out. The market conditions have not been as great as one would hope. We've saw a huge flush out earlier today. The doomsday ringing and bells are going off for a lot of people, but at the same time, there's a lot of optimism as well. But over the past little bit, I've had some fun with just being within the space, and we'll kind of go over how and why that is. Thanks so much for tuning in. First of all, remember, you're getting fleeced. Italian prosecutors just uncovered that Youre pays only $57 to produce bags retailing for $2,780. Guys, unbelievable. The status we pay for, things that are overpriced, unbelievable. Okay, so I don't want to get too much into it, but there's been a huge amount of FUD from like this well token generating event. A lot of people saying, oh, this collection's a scam. This person's doing things that are bad. It's just simply not happening. Yo, I can't read the text. Yo, is that Atari? Yo, is that Atari? Oh my goodness, what's going on? Sorry, your name is like blue, and the sun coming in from the early morning here is unbelievable. I can barely even see that, but good morning, sir. But the only reason I'm bringing this up is because we still have like this notion that everything is going to work within the space, and I think that it's something you really have to be aware of. There's a post that we're going to go over later, but there's still a lot of things that, seem a little bit fishy, aren't getting created the right way. There's still a huge amount of risks across the space as a whole, and it's just, man, it sucks that we have these things that don't work out all the time. But there's a lot of people that are trying to do some good, so pay attention to who they are. Kieran here from Illuvium. The whole GameFi industry is about to be hit with a stark reality. Build a better game than your mainstream counterpart with added ownership. But you can't because you're obsessed with number go up. So I might need some help with this because I get this, is he just saying basically we take whatever is in the web 2 variation and we just make a better variation of it, but this time with ownership? Are people going to care about ownership? I think it's an interesting argument where, a lot of us that are within the space, we think like, yeah, that's going to be important and people care about that thing. But for your average user, I remember about a year, maybe 2 ago, somebody posted or made a comment to me about how video game skins are meant to be rented. And I was like, okay, I guess. If you go to a ski hill a lot and you have to rent the equipment, wouldn't you rather just own it unless you want them to store it? Well, but this time it's just like a digital file, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So why would you only want to rent it? It doesn't make sense. But the final point that he's saying here is you can't because you're obsessed with number go up. I genuinely don't know what he means by that. Is it the games aren't wanting to progress because all they care about is exchange listings and trying to get the token value to go up, so they're not caring about creating a quality game? Is that what he's kind of insinuating? Listen, I need a little bit of help here. That's the exact same thing. Gandhi, we've highlighted this here a few times. There is a lot of different NFT fi leverage not even leverage protocols, but ones where you are able to borrow, take loans, yada 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 yada, get loans, and it's interesting that we had the comment the other day from Mr. Luca Netz from Pudgy Penguins highlighting the aspect of, hey, we think that our collection is going to go to 100 plus ETH, 200 ETH. And the only way that it gets that are from these protocols and the ones that are building something to help leverage the value of NFTs. It's a whole nother medium. So we're knocking down the door of FUD Friday. Today's Thursday, right? Yes, it's Thursday. One day early. So there's ApeCoin and then there's Blast. So we're going to get to a whole bunch of BlastFUD here in a momentaro. But for ApeCoin, man, oh man, every single day there seems to be some insane story that's coming out of there. So Nash saying the largest delegation of ApeCoin is a community outside of the Yuga ecosystem that is actively voting against a proposal presented by apes and backed by Yuga Labs themselves. I think it's about time Apes reclaim the Coin Dow when Bored Ape delegation. And so, as you can see on the screen graphic here, for anybody that doesn't know, ApeCoin, there's different proposals and people can vote for them. And so you can see that Mochaverse ape.eth here has 6.3 million ape. Now, ApeCoin dropped like insane amounts today and it's at like 80 cents, but let's go back for easy math for Schiller here where it was $1. So that's basically $6.3 million, which is a lot of money, and so a lot of people couldn't get that. Now Horizon Labs, again, that's the people who I believe helped launch ApeCoin themselves, voted with 4.3 million ape. Journey Club, if you happen to follow his content, 2.1 million ape. There's some massive votes, but they can swing things aggressively, and we've seen that play out, and people are not happy with some of them playing against it. Speaking of Journey Crypto, commenting on it, highlighting Mr. Garga, CEO of Yuga Labs. I know Yuga is trying to stay distant with ApeCoin, but if Mochaverse is going to have a massive DAO vote, then Bored Ape Yacht Club and other sides should too. It makes no sense that Mocha NFT holders get to vote and BAYC, MAYC, CODA, and Deed holders don't. Make ApeCoin great again. Now, just reading this, I didn't even realize like Mochaverse NFTs themselves have a vote, unless I'm completely misunderstanding what they're saying here. But that, I mean, this in itself highlights the problems with the ApeCoin DAO. Okay, into some of the BlastFUD. Hold on, this is not BlastFUD, but I saved it nonetheless. Okay, sorry, hold on, let's read it anyway. To some extent, I am more happy to see the altcoin market today, which means that the big infra projects promoted by VC will gradually become footnotes in crypto. Okay, never mind, this is a banger. Projects without cash flow and unable to help users obtain stable returns will eventually be eliminated, which we're kind of seeing obviously a massive market shakeout, but then, you know, once everything gets shaken out, the reevaluation happens and the harder questions get asked. Market disenchantment requires a step-by-step process, although there are still deficiencies in valuation. Many projects backed by handling fees in this bull market should be even more comfortable than those listed on big exchanges. On one hand, there is no debt, and on the other hand, it is foreseeable that they can survive for a long time. The development of the entire industry will be to move from virtual to real. Let us wish the success of DApp in the next bull run. We still have to thank the increasingly perfect infrastructure. Bada, 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 bada. But it's an interesting point here. When we get the big flush, the reevaluation, the sustainable aspects, it's always the talk. Okay. Here's some Blast. If you didn't know, they did an AMA the other day, and this is ISO Beast saying the bad from it. No real reason to hold the token unless you're in it for the long haul. Fundamental misalignment between early adopters who have the token now and the intended user of the chain. Ultimately, it means you're betting Blast being successful and attracting winner dApps over a multi-year time span. So this is a thing that I'm not aware enough, I feel, to really give an educated perspective. However, as a hardcore user of all of these platforms, paying attention to what's going on within the blockchain space right now, how the hell are all these different chains going to have enough people that have products that people want on there? Now, is it just a conversation about the future is going to be multi-chain and things are going to be easy and the cross-pollination of everything? And if a massive application gets huge on Flow, well, it's just going to connect to every other ecosystem. Maybe. But there's a lot of money being thrown around to try to help different things be successful, whether it be on ApeChain, whether it be on Blast, whether it be on Root Network, whether it be on any chain you can think of. And then somehow that value accruing to the token. Not particularly appetizing in the very short-term focused market we reside in. The good of the AMA for Blast, ISO actually thinks the model is good and thinks there's a high likelihood that Blast has a higher TVL than basically every other current L2 if we look 2 to 3 years down the road. Clear direction decisions towards making Blast a sustainable retail chain. Have you noticed that we've had like these consumer chain, retail chains? We're having these terms that I feel haven't really been brought up, all of a sudden be shoved on the timeline. The problem is that, one, there are no new retail users right now because awful economic conditions for the average persons mean they can't afford rent, let alone crypto endeavors. I would kind of agree with this. It feels like a very interesting time within the world. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys are following different groups that have, like, I mean, so on X, you'll see people that give like opinions about the economy and whatnot. But, you know, I'm in like some local area, not news, but like neighborhood groups, right? And a lot of people are posting about looking for jobs, the struggling that they're having with certain things, and it's definitely not a great environment for this. And that's not to be discredited. Two, Solana and meme coin mania has a stranglehold on retail consciousness at the moment. Well, I mean, we don't have any new retail, but apparently the retail before, which could be you and I, KEKW, is into meme coins, even though like I'm not, except for PorkJet, KEKW. Feels like not much short-term incentive to hold the tokens with a high likelihood of being able to buy back cheaper later. Okay, so there's one take on Blast. Mooncat. We're going over this, and Mooncat was saying they were putting an absolute bag into Blast on the timeline here, but appreciate the transparency. They say, sold it all and took a big loss of around 27 ETH. Compensated with my airdrop and now up 20 ETH overall, with 75% still vested. Something that could have changed my life turned into something that I didn't expect at all. It is what it is. Now at least I'm able to farm the upcoming 6 months and get my 75% Blast, and hopefully the price just goes up, up, and up. I had to sell it here, even though it might be the bottom. I need the ETH as 75% of my airdrop is vested, and Blast just starts on the 15th of July, so won't be in time to get the points I need most likely. Very interesting to see the farmer conundrum and making some big bets here. PacMan, the founder of Blur and Blast, saying, I think the Blast governance, and this was, just to clarify, there was kind of like a wave, and there's still more that we're going to get into here, but there was a wave of negativity FUD and people making posts of like, I'm exiting the ecosystem. And so I guess like this was kind of his response to that. I think the Blast governance mechanism is severely misunderstood at the moment. The goal isn't for the community for actively participate in governance. That never works. The goal is for the community to be able to intervene in governance if ever it goes astray by being able to veto proposals and replace the Progress Council. It's a system of checks and balances, and the expectation is that the community should basically never have to intervene. Business development and incentives will continue to be driven by the foundation team. And then, you know, there's a lot of responses, one of them saying, not a single soul that holds Blast gives a shiza about governance intervention. They care about the token price. That's what everybody is about. You built a casino and your users just want to gamble. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just silly to try and frame things around the token differently. And so, again, we do these perspectives of what's good, what's bad about certain things, and maybe owning the identity of it. War Daddy Capital also commenting on the Blast experience. End of an era, the good, the bad, the ugly. The good, being quite early in the ecosystem and playing around for months on testnet was such a huge advantage. Early bird gets the worm. Curiosity is king in the space. That's why we're covering the Root Network, baby. One of the few. As a creator, at Blast was good to me. I don't think of myself as a creator, nor did I ever really picture being in the position, but I'll ride the slide. So this is kind of interesting because like when they reference like a creator, and apologies for my ignorance because I'm not sure like the extent of them being like a creator, if it was, you know, a lot kind of on the side, just tweets, video content, etc., etc. But it is interesting when you look at the different networks that are out there and what ones have some kind of support for content creators, if any at all. Because as I said earlier on with like NBA Top Shot, there really wasn't like a whole lot, even though, you know, streaming multiple hours a day going over it, and you know, you shouldn't just do something and then have the expectation of, oh yeah, they should like compensate me, because I don't think that's fair. But it is noticeable, I think, from the people that are doing content, and why you see some people kind of switch up ecosystems is, okay, how many people are in this? Is it worth putting my time into there? How do you build like the personal brand? Yada, yada, yada. And so again, that was kind of the good. The bad, honestly, I don't even want to say it's bad. I'm super bullish on the outlook that PacMan is setting up on Blast. Mobile first and native yield set up so many unique opportunities for real builders that are looking for a new home. This ecosystem is going to take time to build, and it won't be easy, but there is 10 billion Blast token incentive that is running for those who truly believe in the future of mobile-friendly blockchains. I think Blast is hella undervalued at current prices, and it makes me sick to my stomach that I yeeted out of it early, but that's part of the game. The ugly, in this space, you make bets. I had a thesis, stuck with the thesis, and had much higher expectations, as did many other smart folks in the space, and I got burnt. Part of the game, thinking back, there are some things I wish I could change, but we take those lessons and move forward. All in all, I exit Blast up in profit, up in experience, down bad from unrealized all-time highs, but that's part of the game. So Okay, I guess they did like content for Blast and then they like left that, like are done with it now. So again, this, back to the community supporting things. Okay, well, what if you put a bunch of effort into somebody and then it's just like, you know what, I'm bored of this ecosystem, I'm going to go somewhere else, right? Or they turn into like a massive fudder of it. There is definitely a double-edged sword with all of this stuff. Otto Suin saying, next up for farming is BarChain. If you guys want to look that up, an EVM identical at L1, turning liquidity into security, powered by proof of liquidity and Monad, bringing parallel execution to the Ethereum virtual machine. Layer 1, what will you build without constraints? So, a lot of massive chains, different incentives, reward structures being out there. If you're messing around, you might have some cool opportunities. Gabe 8-Bit, one of the big heavy metal farmers early in the days with Yuga Labs, highlighting the info that we got from Heavy Metal and Shatterline that we highlighted yesterday, where there is a new game that's coming that has heavy metal integration. Apparently they're having a starting prize pool of $100,000 that will grow over the course of the first set of PvE and PvP competitions. So when you stop and you look around, where Illuvium's had a big prize pool, Third Kingdom's doing that, earlier on for heavy metal, there was really like just speculation. So it's cool for them to give like an actual kind of dollar value that's associated with it. But the big takeaway just for me is everything is going into the realm of having big prize pools, trying to throw the money at it. And if you're a gamer, now is a good opportunity. We'll also be adding a spectator fantasy sports style feature so that those that aren't as competitive can still win prizes by picking and collecting their favorite pro players in a fantasy draft. Pro players will also be rewarded from the fantasy sports feature based on how many spectators chose them in the draft and collect their cards. So what the hell yesterday had anything to do with cards? Let's kind of read through here a little more. In addition to the growing 100K prize pool, we'll be giving out faraway ecosystem rewards to players on leaderboards that will be minted and tradable. These rewards are available to all players regardless of NFT ownership. We will be running a revenue share creator competition where we will share 1% of net revenue with the top creators that bring players to the game. If you want to understand what creator program will look like, check out Omega Strikers launch and their incentives for creators. So on the topic of incentivization, creators, 1% of net revenue, holy smokes. If that's a hit, that's actually a fair amount. So still very cool. And for the Shatterline players, what does it mean? It's still a free-to-play experience that's not NFT gated, same gameplay, competitive balance, and remain untouched. Benefits the blockchain tech enables that otherwise would be much harder to accomplish. Easy and transparent ways to trade content and motivate a player-to-player economy that can benefit all players. Interoperable IP and content that brings in new users through interoperability. New rewards and prizes equal more incentives for players, which will grow the ecosystem. Shared upside for players and creators as the game grows and succeeds. Spectator fantasy sports layer with tradable collectible cards of pro players and a growing player base as a result of the partnership. So again, a lot of things going on within the gaming space as a whole, but a lot of eyes on the Shatterline experience with heavy metal. So here's a quick little video of somebody that's playing this. It's about 60 seconds. Yesterday, the trailer that we played was very fast paced. This is a little bit slower. This looks identical to Apex Legends from just kind of like a quick overview of it, from the characters off to the side to the way the sliders are, and like the graphics and all of that. So will be interesting what the gameplay is like. Again, if it's free to play, we'll probably give it a shout, but there is a little bit of a showcase so you guys can see what that looks like. Pudgy Penguins are coming back to San Diego Comic-Con 2024. Now, yesterday it was announced that Cool Cats was not going back to Comic-Con, which I thought was crazy. And for anybody that doesn't know what Comic-Con is, it's just basically like a massive convention for people that are fans of comics, characters, Marvel, Star Wars, whatever it be, place to get together. There's trading card competitions. There's guest speakers. There's autograph sessions. You want to meet the cast of Lord of the Rings, per se. Typically, they're there. And again, I thought the Cool Cats thing was very successful last year from all we saw, but they're not going. But we got Pudgy Penguin stepping in the way to represent NFTs at Comic-Con San Diego 2024. 2024. Here's a quick little video talking about how Apple will blow everyone out of the water. And it's showing that somebody's doing like a math equation. They're just writing it. And then I guess it's like an iPad that just figures it out and answers the question below. Kind of crazy. Love to see it. Pretzels had a hilarious post yesterday that made me think of all the merchandise that we have from NFT land. And it was about the Bored Ape Yacht Club merch, having the original BAYC hoodie, some of the Hundreds collabs, the Ape Fest merch as well. And just kind of looking right quick, if you guys haven't seen what those look like, the Hundreds one, basically it's like the ape logo, but with like an atom bomb squad in the cranium with the back piece like that. And yeah, kind of cool to see some of the collabs, and I'm surprised we haven't seen more collections of magnitude have those bigger partnerships. Why not? Hate to say this about my beloved Rabby wallet, but they're being a bit scammy. They've introduced a 0.25% swap fees, which is fine, but it's been purposely hidden in the UI that is only seen by a scroll, which isn't necessary to send the transaction. So very, very interesting where everybody's, they're looking at those extra details because you have 100,000, 100 million users going through swapping things. You get 0.25% of any of the trades. That adds up really quick. Animoca Brands here with an announcement saying we're joining the Olympics with Enway Games. And I'm pretty sure Enway Games was like the one that was doing the Yuga. Oh, what the hell was it called? I'm totally blanking right now. The Yuga Rec League, if I remember correctly. That has not been in my timeline at all. I don't know what the hell happened to it. But either way, partnering up here with Animoca Brands, commemorate all the fun we're going to have at the games and make sure you redeem a free NFT pin of the mascot. So if you are wanting to get an NFT pin, everything is just, it's adding up. Everybody's trying to get those collectibles and whatnot. Aries Swan, if you want the Paris 2024 mascot in an NFT form. Holy smokes, brother. What's going on? Yo, good morning. True. So some conversations around Cool Cats here, and Savvy Flip saying not enough people are paying attention to this in my opinion. A cartoon / show with actual Hollywood actor voiceovers? What? And Shara responded to that saying, yeah, and wait until you see who else we've cast. Similar to the notion around Lil Wayne and what's going on with the Doodles animations. Again, we could see some interesting conversations around Cool Cats, depending on who they bring in. And remember, it takes like an instant for people to change up, right? Somebody can say, I don't like the cats. And then let's just say they hire Seth Rogen and somebody's a huge Seth Rogen fan. Then they're all of a sudden they're screaming, we like the cats. They're getting tattoos about it. They're sweeping the floors. The celebrity influence, the Hollywood actor. Is it gonna make some eyeballs turn? Potentially. News, KuCoin to list Ethereum meme coin MOG. Course, all the time, guys, there's a new meme every single day, and some of them end up getting a little bit more attention, and this time it is MOG. Okay, kind of cool where there was a back and forth where Aaron from Futureverse was showing how they have like a 3D model maker for clothes, and Shillverse here, not to be confused with Shillerverse, KEKW, posted this icon, label, branding, graphic, whatever you want to say, and quickly shown what it looks like on a digital wearable. I think it looks really all right in the aspect of we're all online all the time. Are people going to care about what they wear in the metaverse? And I think yes. Further to that, he's also posting Featureverse has a core mission to give meaning to Web3 digital content property rights by enabling interoperability through the Silo asset register, Silo GameFi oracles, and decentralized social fi graphs. The Seekers network is Deepend for gaming infra with unique gamified incentive protocol. So if you guys have no idea what the hell Deepend is, down in the description below or in my X profile, we've highlighted every single show, RWA segments. We talk about the tokenization of things, focusing on real world assets. And this past week, funny enough, we had Patrick Bush, who actually works for VanEck as their head of research, and we did a complete deep dive into Deepend. He explained what it is, going over the aspects of things you might be familiar with in terms of helium, the entire story around that. It's like a 15-minute breakdown just on helium. It's incredibly informative and would really encourage you guys to go and listen to that if you want to see the magnitude of this line. Because at first glance, if you're not familiar with Deepend, this is the Seekers network is Deepend for gaming infra with unique gamified incentive protocol. That line is going to mean something completely different to you if you aren't familiar. So again, go check that out and let me know if you do, because I feel like you'll come back and be like, all right, chill. I understand why you're excited about Silo. 669.say is saying, watching the influencers publicly announce their fatigue or disdain of crypto is fascinating. Have you not seen on the timeline? Almost everybody's like suddenly like down in the dumps. Like yesterday we posted, right? And like we called it like the doomsday. And like, I don't actually think that. It felt like the timeline, right? But people are out there posting these huge things of, oh, I'm exiting, things are over. I'm seeing it all over my timeline. I don't know if it's a copy pasta or if people are actually feeling that kind of way. And again, we've had a huge market flush out. If you haven't seen the charts, just don't even look at it. The original thesis was we pump through 2025. Is this chop really killing interest that much? I think so. That's me commenting on it. Aren't we still in 2024? Things seem to be on target and a year still setting up to be good. Setting up to be good. And yeah, I mean, I kind of agree that it's weird that we have such negativity around things or giving up, but the market is rather boring, so I understand it. Now, I have a regret on this show, oddly enough, and if you want to make me feel better, I'd love for you to like the video. But AK made this comment, and I probably should have brought this up at the beginning because I feel like it's a good tone setter, but I'm a fish and we're bringing it up now. But the entire timeline is essentially crying about how things are. I don't feel one bit sorry. Educate yourself. I've spent hundreds of hours on the little education there is available on Web3 from successful founders. After that, it becomes incredibly easy to realize what's fluff and what's legit. You can blame the teams or blame yourself for not educating yourself on what actually works and what doesn't. No pointing fingers, but when someone who actually points these things out, they get attacked to eternity due to bag holder bias. Let me be absolutely clear with everyone reading this. The most exceptional builders are building towards the only thing that truly works: consumer adoption. Identify them and get behind them. If you fail to educate yourself, you'll be missing out on the biggest opportunities in crypto. It's no harm to partake in speculative frenzy, but the projects destined to fail all have very obvious signs. And again, I massively regret not bringing that up at the front because that was a banger. Yo, crypto party. Listen, I'm absolutely blinded by the sun here early on. It might not seem that in the video, but I like legit can't read the chat. So how the hell are you? If I got the wrong name, my bad. Hope you're doing good. BAYC, the Bored Ape Yacht Club guys are on HBO apparently. NFL legend Frank Gore is wearing a BAYC Adidas collab hoodie while talking about up-and-coming prospects. NFTs may not be as cool as they once were if they aren't dead yet. Wait, hold on a second. NFTs may not be as cool as they once were if they weren't dead yet. Okay, I have like a weird feeling they had like a little bit of a spelling error, a little bit of a conniption right at the end of that one. But still, it's funny because now anytime you're watching anything, you'll like be randomly sitting there and be like, yo, I recognize that. That's like a blockchain based brand. Gonna be weird to say that in public, but you get the idea. Some good news though. We've fudded the whole ApeCoin thing a little bit, but listen, we're rocking the other page merch here. AIP 434 just passed. Other page, a player network and rewards hub for ApeChain. I just want to give a special shout out to the community members that rallied for us together. Yada, 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 yada. Ended up getting 12 million votes for yes and 8.2 million for no. Really awesome to see that. I don't know. I think Nova, you have this in your profile. For other page, again, they're just building out a way for you to have a profile to show off what you have in collectibles and just kind of a better way of sending an OpenSea link. And I think this is really, really cool. They're working with like a whole bunch of different Yuga collections, and they were gracious enough to send me a merch package a while ago. So huge shout out to them and congrats on the success and getting the AIP approved. Oh my God. I just yanked the whole screen over. Yo, are we back? Yo, we're back. Banger, banger. Yo, RDL, what in the halibut is going on? Listen, that was... I don't know what time we do these, to be honest. Typically, I'm just like, okay, it feels like the news stories have been pretty good. And I'm just going to fire it up, doing it a little bit later in the day. If you guys pref the earlier ones, let me know in the comments after if you watch that. RDL, sorry, I know you just said good morning. I'm getting out of here, but if you catch the VOD, well, I hope you enjoy that. Crypto Party, thank you for swinging on by. Aries Swan, who's the king of the jungle? Who's the king of the sea? Yo, Atari God, you're an absolute gem as well. Thank you guys so much for coming through. That's going to be it for this edition of X.